And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents Cinderella, based on the story of Cinderella. Once upon a time, there lived a young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had 3 ugly, mean stepsisters named Olive, Nina, and Esme. Olive, Nina, and Esme made Cinderella do all the chores. "Sweep the floors, wash the dishes," said Olive, Nina, and Esme. One day, the king of Onlyville's messenger said, hear ye, the king of Onlyville is going to throw a ball. And whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Singling. But Cinderella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. Olive said, he's going to marry me. Nina said, no way, Olive. He's going to marry me. Esme said, both of you are wrong. He's going to marry me. Later, Cinderella is so sad that she cannot go to the ball and marry Prince Singling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and asks Cinderella what is wrong. Why are you crying, Cinderella? She asks. Cinderella responds, I wanted her to go to the ball and marry Prince Singling, but I'm not welcome. The fairy godmother waved her wand and chanted the magic word, Winnity, Waterity, one! And then, Cinderella's chores are all done. But the fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, Cinderella, go fetch me a good old pumpkin. Luckily, Cinderella has one pumpkin. The fairy godmother waved her magic wand and chanted the magic word, Winnity, Waterity, one! Again, and to turn Cinderella's do-rag and clothes into a gown. I've never seen such a wonderful gown. I get a load of my glass slippers, and then the pumpkin into a carriage drawn by 2 strong horses. The fairy godmother said, have fun, Cinderella, but I will warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken. Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Singling was wondering who he should marry. Olive, Nina, and Esme said all together, he's walking towards me. But he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards Cinderella. Cinderella and Prince Singling dance happily together. But later, Cinderella realized it's almost midnight. So she scurried out of the ball, and she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Singling was so worried that he might never see Cinderella again. So he traveled around Onlyville to find her and brought the glass slipper with him. He knocked on the door of the house where her Cinderella and her stepsisters lived. He said, ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try this glass slipper? Olive is first, but her foot is too big. Nina is next, but her foot is too small. Esme is last, but her foot didn't fit either. Suddenly, Prince Singling noticed Cinderella singing. Wonderella said. Prince Singling, is that you? Prince Singling said, of course it's me. Wonderella gets so excited because she's having to have her Prince Singling back. And they lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story before bed enters doors. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to my video. Take care. Bye and good night, everybody. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents for the 3100 and episode special 31erella. It is based on the story of Cinderella with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we, Andrew's Doers? Once upon a time, there was a young woman named 31erella. 31erella had 9 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Tasha, Hilda, Isabella, Ramona, Tanya, Irina, Olivia, Nina, and Ella. All 9 of them made 31erella do all the chores and watch her work by saying, 31er wench! Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all! One day, the king of Undrachitanaham's messenger arrives and says, Hear ye, the king of Undrachitanaham, his royal majesty, is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Undrachitapling. Can I come? Asks 31erella, but she's denied. So her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are invited. He's going to marry me, said Tasha, the oldest stepsister, but her younger sisters disagree. They even test her 31erella's dress. Later, 31erella is so sad, distraught and upset about not going to the ball and marry Prince Undrachitapling. Suddenly, she was crying so hard that she didn't know. Her fairy godmother arrives and comforts her. There now, my dear 31erella. I'll fix everything for you, she said. She then waves her magic wand. And because of that, 31erella's chores are all done. But her fairy godmother is not done yet, she said. 31erella, go fetch me a pumpkin. Luckily, 31erella has 31 pumpkins and 62 mice. 31erella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 31 pumpkins into a handsome coach and 62 mice and horses and fixes 31erella's torn dress and makes it bigger and better. 31erella said, I've never seen such a wonderful gown. Get out of my glass slippers, fairy godmother. How can I ever thank you enough? And climbed into the coach. 31erella, as fairy godmother said, well, you can't. But have fun, 31erella, my dear. But I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken and everything will change back to the way it was before. And gave her a clock to tell her what time it is. 31erella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, the king of Undrachitapling says, Good evening, everyone. Prince Undrachitapling was wondering who he should marry. Isn't that right, son? In which the Prince Undrachitapling responds, Yes, father. Suddenly, 31erella arrived at the ball just in time. He's walking towards me, say Tasha, Hilda, Isabella, Ramona, Tanya, Irina, Olivia, Nina, and Ella all together. But Prince Undrachitapling is not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards 31erella. Prince Undrachitapling then says, May I have this dance? In which 31erella responds, I would be delighted. And so, 31erella and Prince Undrachitapling dance happily together, but later. 31erella checks her clock and it's almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball and she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Triacontahenagonal was really worried that he might never see 31 again. The king of Triacontahenagonal comforts him by saying, There now, son. I think we'll be able to find 31 my dear daughter-in-law. And so, the king of Triacontahenagonal and Prince Triacontahenagonal began their journey all around Triacontahenagonal to find her 31 and brought the glass slipper she lost with them. By the time they arrived, Prince Triacontahenagonal knocked on the door of the home where 31 and her 9 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters lived. But instead of 31 they find Tasha to Ella. Prince Triacontahenagonal then said, Ladies, my father, the king of Triacontahenagonal, and I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on this glass slipper? Tasha is first, but her foot is too big. Hilda is next, but her foot is too small. Nonsense! It fits! She said. The rest are the same, but none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, the king of Triacontahenagonal and Prince Triacontahenagonal noticed saying, Your Majesty and Prince Triacontahenagonal, is that you guys? She hollered excitedly. The glass slipper fits! And 31 the king of Triacontahenagonal and the Prince Triacontahenagonal lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story. Sorry it's been a few side effects, but don't worry. And by the way, I've been debating on making some sequels. So if you want to see maybe someday 31 2, 31 Wishes Come True, or something like that. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything. And buy our merchandise at andrewdoeseverything.com. Take care. Bye.